It's time for a Margie Talks. Now, I'm not here to get famous or make money. I'm here to rant and express myself because from the time I was 14, I've always had a journal and I write constantly, especially when there's lots going on in my life. And in the mornings, it's like, well, I've been up since 4:30 this morning, and it is 5:20 in the morning. And my mornings, I like to have my coffee, and I always wish that I had somebody to chat with. Like, I'd like to bug my sisters, but I always hold back because I could do that every weekend. And I don't want to be annoying. Anyway, so what I want to rant about today, I want to rant about, so my oldest son and his girlfriend / fiance, they've been together 6 years. They have 3 kids. 2 of them are Dustin's. God, I wish I didn't say names. 2 of them are his and 1 is theirs. And they're going through a time right now. And it takes me back to my marriage. And what I want to rant about is how we as young women just want to land somebody, like, to have babies with. Like, we don't know that. We're not doing that purposefully, intentionally, but that's what's going on in the background. We want to land somebody. We want to couple up. And man, that is my assumption. They're more just having fun, want to have sex, and if something comes of it, great. Especially when they're in their 20s, I don't think men are looking for a wife, but women are, and we need to be. Anyways, so we just get into relationships, and we have our primal instincts that drive us forward, and for women that's having babies, and then men is to have sex and spread their seeds. So this is what's going on in the background, and what's going on now is his relationship is progressing the exact same way. His dad and our relationship progressed, and I became very resentful. I became overworked, and he had anger issues, and he was emotionally unavailable, which he was from day one. And I didn't care, even though there were tons of red flags. I just needed to have babies, all 3 before I was 30. We were so in love. And when I say in love now at this age, I'm going to be 60 next year. When I say in love, that means we were so overwhelmed with chemistry, physical chemistry. So there was all kinds of dopamine and oxytocin floating around in my brain, probably his too, I'm assuming. That wears off quickly. And that's what makes us think we're in love. But anyways, so, and then, you progress on and you have kids and the family and all of that. Well, my son is going through, he doesn't know this, but his girlfriend called me last night. And she said she's totally fine with me talking to Dustin about it. I keep saying his name. But I feel her because she's experiencing exactly what I experienced, and that is having expectations of a certain standard. And I basically told her, that I feel her, I understand, I have been there. I sympathize, empathize for what she's going through, but the quickest way for her to get through this is to have 0 expectations. And I had to get to a point about the same time. They're 6 years. I think mine happened about 7 years in. I'd say so. I'd say about 6 or 7 years in, I had a mental breakdown, and I called up my husband at work. And I said, if you're not home in half an hour, the kids are going to be alone because I'm leaving. And I couldn't take it anymore. Kids are soul sucking. Raising babies, doing that all by yourself is soul sucking. And my son's girlfriend, not only is she doing all of that, she is running a business. And she's just not getting any help from her perspective. I don't know his perspective yet. We'll be talking today. But my biggest thing that I've learned and observed big time is how a lot of men need a woman to do everything for them. And I'm going to just say it in a blunt way. And I know it's not a blanket policy. It's not all men. And it's not like I'm even right or close to being right. But they want a slave. They want a sex slave. And that's not literal. So don't take it so literal. I'm allowed to exaggerate because it's my talk. They want a maid. They want to cook. I think that men like to have a woman who they have chemistry with and someone who will take care of all of the things that they don't want to have to deal with or do, like cooking and cleaning, but yet they want somebody to have sex with. And I think that that's their primal drive, where a woman's primal drive is to have a family and have babies. And then we get together, and there are high expectations on that man. And he is always falling short. And the other thing is, a lot of men, and I'm going to say a lot, whether it's most, whether it's not a lot, I don't care. Don't overanalyze my exaggerations. But we're beaten down by their dads. I know my son was. His dad had intense anger issues, and my son holds it in, but he'll explode every once in a while, his girlfriend said, a couple of times a month. And so here we are. We have coupled up. We are married to our significant other. And we, us females, have expectations, and the men are falling short. And this is another thing I feel like men need. They need to know that they are getting it right. They need to know that they need respect, and they don't want to disappoint. And us women are constantly disappointed because our expectations are not aligned with, we didn't think this through from the start. So, yeah, men need to be appreciated. Men absolutely need to be appreciated to flourish. And it's difficult for a woman to appreciate him when she's emotionally and spiritually and physically drained by her kids and life. See, both women and men have had to take on new roles because of the evolution of Western society. Women have had to always navigate surviving, always, even to this day. And I'm not overly sympathetic to women because I am so against feminism and the woke left and all of that. But women have had to adapt and survive. And so we needed to get out of have a way to get away from a man because, from being abused, whether that's emotionally or physically or all of it, not having proper freedom And women are just as bad. I'm not saying that, but women as a whole have had to evolve and learn how to survive. And then we learned that we had to get into the workplace, cost of living. We had to get into the workplace, one, to be able to not rely on a man, because most marriages don't work out and you're eventually going to be out on your own, but also to have a way to escape abusive relationships. So women can do it all, and I think we can all agree on that. Women can cook and clean and avoid sex and work full time. But men can't. Men can't. We've learned how to, women have learned how to work outside the home. Men have not learned how to work inside the home. And I'm not talking all men, so shut up. Let me be me. But men haven't learned how to work inside the home. I'm sure there's a lot of men that have, because of the wokeness, especially out in the West, on the West Coast here. But I don't think it has to be this way. I want to have a talk with my son. I want to hear his side of it. And I want to tell him that, his biggest fear was that he didn't want, his wife to leave when they're in their 50s, when the kids are grown, because that's an obvious pattern with my generation. All of us women leave after the kids are grown. And now look at this peaceful freaking life I live. I would not trade it for a shit relationship. I would not in a million years. There is no way in hell I would give up this sanctuary to be taking care of a man who wants me to cook and clean and fuck him. No, thank you. Bring something to the goddamn table, guys. Come on. I don't care. I'm happy. And anyways, it doesn't have to be this way for my son's relationship. They can get this out of the ditch. They can. And what it's going to take is she needs a lot of spa days so that she can recharge her batteries. And he needs to learn how to alleviate a lot of her pressure, because from what I understand, she has to be remembering everything when it comes to the kids and their activities. And then she's running a cleaning business where, it's putting out fires, and she owns the cleaning business, owns and operates it. And she's also started another side of it. Well, they have started another side of it where my son is doing exterior cleans out here on the West Coast, on the island. It's a big thing that people need to get their exterior, their entire outside of their houses cleaned a couple times a year. She manages all of that. She does have an overseas assistant, but still, kids are soul sucking. Yeah, whatever. I hear you moaning over there. They are. Anyways. So, I guess that's all I got. Men and women come together for the wrong reasons, unintentionally. And, I feel like my son's generation, they'll get it right. They can learn how to stay together forever. I can help them get this, out of the ditch. It doesn't help the cost of living, and don't get me started on our government spending and large governments and, tax dollars and more tax, especially here in BC. Just add tax, and God damn it, my son will never own a home. Never. They live and raise this family in a small 2-bedroom basement suite. The oldest is 6, and then the twins are 4. All 3 of them in one bedroom. And the living space is small where they live. And they're used to it. That's all they've ever known. But man, I had 3 bedrooms. I had like a 1,200 square foot bi-level that I raised the kids, well, till they were 7. And then, yeah, we had normal 3-4 bedroom houses after that, even bigger when we started to get our shit together in our 40s. And we had a big ass house, triple car garage, and we started with nothing. Anyways, that's all I got.